Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chastity. We read a lot of books, we do a lot of things. It's kind of the whole shtick. Anyway, it is still February as of filming this. Don't know when it'll go up, but we're doing great. It has snowed. It snowed, I think, 8 inches, and I have been rotting on the couch. I had to call out of work. The roads were completely iced over. It has been an experience, but when it snows, what better time than to sit down and read a book when you have no other responsibilities? The house is semi-clean, we can't go anywhere, and no work to be happening. So I'm gonna try to read an entire series while I'm snowed into my apartment this weekend. What series, you may want to know. Now, my birthday is in February. We love a good birthday. I adore my birthday. Along with birthdays, typically come presents, especially from your parental type people. And my beautiful, wonderful, loving, gift-giving mama sent me the Prison Healer. This has been on my TBR for a hot minute. I'm actually so excited to dive into the Prison Healer. It is written by Lynette Noni, and I know some of what happens, but not a lot. It's, from what I understand, it's this girl. She is thrown into prison when a rebel queen is also thrown into prison, and she has a note comes from her family that says, "Don't let her die." And she ends up having to fight in these trials in the queen's stead. But I didn't just receive the Prison Healer. No. My mother could not stop there. I also got the Gilded Cage as well as the Blood Trader. I got the whole trilogy that is currently out. I don't know if there's any more, but I got the whole thing. These are not necessarily short books, but they're also not bricks either. Like, it's not Stephen King's It. I'm actually very excited to read these books. I want to know. I have been craving a fantasy, like, high stakes, epic story. And from what I understand, I could be wrong. I will let you know when we get further into this. I don't think these are spicy. I think these are YA. I think they are family friendly. So plus to these guys, for anybody who's looking for a fantasy in a world full of romantasy, I'll let you know if these are any good. But what a better way to start this than to have a true Prison Healers reading vlog where I read all 3. I'm actually so excited. Do you understand? We love a gift-giving mother. So, without further ado, I say I knock out the rest of my tasks today and start reading. Because I have 3 books to get through before the snow melts. The Prison Healer. I loved this book. I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I flew through it. I read all of it in like 2 days, I think. I loved this so much. And the twist at the end, beautiful. Never saw it coming. Could not have guessed literally at all. But essentially you are following Kiba Meriden as she undertakes the 4 trials to free not only herself but the rebel queen from Zalendov. And you follow her and her romantic interest, but it is YA, so no spicy scenes. Just very sweet. She's been in this prison for 10 years. She doesn't know who she can trust or if she can trust anyone, and then this guy comes along that she is well, maybe I can trust him. And it's very sweet. And she befriends a guard, and it's a little bit of magic, but not a lot of magic. But the world building was so good, and I loved it a lot. I will say I've been in a little bit of a slump. I haven't been reading literally I don't think I've picked up a book in 2 weeks. It's been a lot. Books have kind of taken a back seat so I can focus on being healthy and mentally stable. That being said, I did start The Gilded Cage, which picks up almost immediately after they after this book ends, which I don't want to tell you how this book ends because spoilers, and I feel like there's not a lot that I can say about this book without giving it away. But so far, I am really liking it. I'm on chapter 11 in this one. We're still following Kiva as she is getting a little bit more mixed up with the rebel community and what's going on there, and all of the things that you find out at the end of this book. She's kind of like dealing with how does she feel about that and where do her true loyalties lie. I'm thoroughly enjoying this series. So my hope is that I will finish this book this week and then finish the third one, Blood Trader, over the weekend. I have a lot of hope for these books. I will say this one didn't catch, like, my attention didn't snap and catch on this one the way that it did on the Prison Healer. So it's taken me a little bit more, like, intentionality to really get into it and like sink my claws into it. And I think that's part of the reason I was having a hard time. But I definitely want to finish this series. I think it's so much fun, and it was definitely something that I was looking for at the time. And I still am kind of in that like phantasmal energy. But I think after this one, I might need to pick up like a thriller or like a horror novel, something just different. But we love this. We're having a great time. Literally, since I've put this room together, never come in here. It's just one of those things where I don't think about it, but I have a whole futon specifically to like film videos and come and read and hang out in my office. I think this is the perfect time to come into my office, drink my iced coffee, and keep reading The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, which so far so good. Here's the thing. I may have taken a few months off reading this particular series. I loved the first one. I'm not loving the second so far. Hear me out. It's just not as fast-paced. It's not as thrilling. It's taking a lot to get into it. And I feel like the last few series that I've read, I've had a harder time with the second book. I don't know what it is, but we're going to sit down and we're going to keep on reading. So me and Zeus are going to hang out. I have my iced coffee. I have a blanket with a cow on it. I have my cow Squishmallow. We're just going to rock and roll and see how much of this book I can get through tonight. How long am I going to read? Good question. But I probably will lay down on this couch because it doesn't recline. And I need like an ottoman to like prop my feet up on. You know what I'm saying? Like a nice ottoman would be perfect right here. Maybe I'll roll my chair over and put my feet in that. But let's get started. The Gilded Cage, I made it to page 216. I don't know if I'm going to read some more tonight or if I'm just going to edit, but I will say I was having trouble with it. It's finally starting to get kind of good. I'm actually like having a good time and like didn't really want to put it down, but I know that if I don't eat soon, I'm going to be sick. We will talk about the plot when I'm done because I'm gonna give spoilers and I want to be able to like let you guys skip past that if you're interested in reading the book. But It has gotten better. It's not as slow. It's not as like dragging. There's a lot of sneaking around. There's still a lot of sneaking around, but now the information that we're getting is more interesting to me. So I am starting to enjoy it. But you have to take care of your body. You have to be a person. I need to take my medication. That kind of thing has to happen next. So we're going to take a brief pause and hopefully come back to it tonight. But probably on the couch. So I finished A Gilded Cage. Okay, I've taken a shower, I've had time to think about it. A couple of overarching notes. This took me probably a third of the way through to actually feel invested and ready to like jump back into the story. It was a long lead up, I feel like, before crazy exciting things started to happen, and I was like, oh, I have to know what happens next. It took me a while to really invest in like Kiva and Jaren and all the things that were going on. I think I'm gonna rate it a 3.5 because I really did like the ending. I like where the story went. Some of the twists and turns I could kind of see coming, but not all of them. There was still some surprise. There were still some gasps. There were some very sweet, very tender moments in this book that kind of took my breath away and I teared up. It was a very good book. I did enjoy it. I think it definitely added to the story. I don't think necessarily that if it had ended after the prison healer, I would be like sad because the prison healer was its own kind of entity, but this did add to it and make me want to know more about the people that were in the book and the story and the character development. So would definitely probably give it a 3.5. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit more detail, so if you don't want spoilers, you can go to the time code at the bottom of the screen. I'll give you just a second. Perfect. So the way that the prison healer ended was Kiva and Jaren escape the prison. You find out that Jaren is the king or the crowned prince of their like continent, and he has the 4 elements of magic that he's the one who's been helping her escape the trials of ordeal. In this book, you follow Kiva as she is wrestling with the fact that she has feelings and affections for Jaren while also being the heir to his nemesis, essentially, the rebel queen. There's a lot of intricacies and things at play that you didn't really see coming. At least I didn't. The way that this plays out, you feel a lot of the turmoil that Kiva is feeling. There's a lot of secrets and how heavy that weighs on her and trying to pick a side. Do I fight for the rebels and take down these people, or do I follow my heart and love this man who is so kind and sweet? Her siblings are the rebel leaders, and so she's torn between her love and her family. Her sister makes me crazy. She is the villain of all villains. Turns out the only way that they can legitimately take the throne is by having the royal tyranny, which is a dagger, a ring, and the book of law. When Kiva finds this out, after she's been sneaking around and giving her sister and her brother information kind of unknowingly a little bit, she was trying to give them bits and nuggets that wouldn't really help them. And then turns out that she gives her sister like the ultimate, this is what you need to be able to take the throne, without really realizing that's what she's done, because her sister has been keeping things from her and lying to her and only giving her half-truths, similarly as Kiva has been doing. Her sister steals the Book of Law, kills their grandmother to get the dagger, which can take power away, like takes their magic if you're stabbed by this dagger, and has a secret alliance with Mira, the prince's sister, the princess, to overthrow the kingdom. It was a wild experience. Jaren gets stabbed. He doesn't have magic. Her sister, Zulika, makes it seem like Kiva has been in on it the whole time, knowingly betraying Jaren. All the while, Kalden, his cousin, knows who she is and has kept her secret, knowing that she has a good heart and doesn't actually want to be a rebel, and is trying to help her kind of figure all of this out towards the end. And she gets sent back when her sister stabs Jaren, makes the deal with the queen to get the ring to save Mirren. All hell breaks loose, and they send Kiva back to Zalendov, the prison that she escaped in the first book. Ha! Okay, if you've skipped ahead, welcome back. If you listen to me ramble about the plot of the second book, I hope you're ready, because we are gonna start The Blood Traitor, which is the final book in the trilogy, and I hope that it wraps it up nicely. I don't really know where it's gonna go from here. Like, I know where she is, I know what's happened, but also, where does this leave her and Jaren and Tim? Where does this leave the kingdom? I'm really excited to see what Lynette has for us in The Blood Traitor and how she rectifies all this. Because I know what I want to happen. I know what I want to play out. And what I feel like should play out. I'm interested to see if she follows my brain. So, I'm going to go film an event and then we're going to get into it. This is the final pack. Okay, let's just ignore how shiny my face is. I have been reading pretty much all day. I'm on chapter 15, page 185. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I like this book better than book 2. So far, book 1 and book 3 have been my favorites. This one has a lot more energy. It's more fast-paced. There's more going on, and I like the energy. I don't like slow starts. I'm not a big fan of slow burns. I want battles and fighting and intrigue, like, from the jump. Those are what I find exciting. So the first book, starting with her in prison and, like, learning about the prison and danger around every turn. And then this one, spoilers ahead. This one starts off with her back in Zalendov prison, obviously. We went over that. And then she finds out in the second book that she thinks her sister is betrothed to another king who is vicious and cruel. Turns out, when his guard comes to get her out of Zalendov, that it is in fact her that is betrothed to that king, and he plans on using her magic at his will. He burns her severely, punches her in the face, and then she escapes with Kalden's sister, who was spying as a maid. Incredible. She also finds her mother's, like, right hand in the dungeon at this king's palace and takes him with her just to find out he's an anomaly that can do magic. And he did what's called wind funneling, and shot them hundreds of miles away from the king back into, like, her home country, where she is reunited with Jaren, Kalden, Tip, Nari, her brother, and Cresta, which I don't think I've mentioned before, but it's so good. Jaren is so angry, but we find out that with the eye eye of the god that if you get stabbed with this blade, it'll take your powers away. There's also a hand of the gods that if she wears all 4 rings that are depicted on the cover here and funnels her magic through it, she can actually give powers to people. So the thought is they have to keep the rings away from King Navok so he can't get magic of his own. They also think that her power as pure light can defeat her sister's power of pure darkness and get the throne back from Zuliki. There's a lot going on in this novel, and I'm only about 40% of the way through it, but oh my god, it has been so hard to put down. I may stay up a little too late reading this book later. It took me so long to get here, but it's so good, dog. So good. I'm gonna be super for real. I don't remember the last time that I updated you guys on the Blood Trader. I simply don't remember. But that being said, I have been reading this book all day long. Okay, all day long. Is it Friday at 11 p.m.? Yes. Does this video go live tomorrow at noon? Also yes. Do I have a dentist appointment tomorrow at 8 a.m.? Also yes. Is this my hoodie? No. But I have 66 pages left before I'm done with this book. They are about to enter battle. And I gotta know how it ends. I gotta know. You guys gotta know. Quite frankly, this is one of my favorite things that I get to do, and so I'm not even mad about it. Am I gonna sleep tonight? Maybe not. Are there gonna be people who are kind of mad at me about it? Probably. But let's finish her up, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the entirety of the series. Are you ready? In my very humble opinion. I don't even know what to say right now, to be quite frank. I think I would give this book, I don't think it's a 5. I think it's more like a 4.5. But I still had an incredible time. I didn't necessarily have a hard time putting it down, but I was excited for every chance I got to pick it up. You know what I mean? I have been reading this series for like 2 months now. It took me like 2 months to read 3 books, which is sad, but nonetheless, I've had a great time. Because it's taken me like 2 months, let's do a quick recap, okay? So the prison healer starts out following Kiva in Zalendov, which is this giant prison that all 8 kingdoms send all of their prisoners. It's a death sentence. It's a prison camp, literally. She is the healer at that prison. A prisoner comes in who happens to be the rebel queen, who is sentenced to trial by ordeal, which is 4 trials that you have to master the elements: fire, earth, wind, and water. The rebel queen is far too sick to undertake these trials, so Kiva decides to take her place. If you complete the trials, you're granted your freedom. She has a little bit of help from magic that she does not possess, only to find out that the boy she's slowly falling in love with happens to be the prince. one of the nations of her nation that she's from. And he has magic. The book ends with there being a prison riot. She completes all 4 trials and escapes with Tip, her 11-year-old stuttering apprentice whom she loves like her own son. This book was fast-paced. I loved every second of it. This one I couldn't put down. I wanted more, I wanted more, I wanted more. Every single page was a new adventure. It was raw emotion of grief, of fear, of survival, and also a young budding romance and a lot of that yearning feeling of will they, won't they, and I loved it. I love the magic system in this book. I love that you didn't know who everybody was. It was almost a mystery, and it was a lot of fun to read. Now, Gilded Cage, a little bit different. You follow Kiva after you find out that she was the rebel leader's daughter, and she secretly has healing magic. Wild, I know. As she tries to figure out if she is willing to betray the man she's come to love. She's accepted into his family, literally living in the palace with him, all while battling, do I choose my siblings, who are still the rebel leaders, or do I choose this man who has shown me nothing but kindness and joy and saved my life on multiple occasions? This one was definitely slower. I had a hard time getting into this one just because I wanted it to pick up right where it left off, and there was more information in this one. There was a lot more waiting around for something to kind of happen. But you get to meet her siblings, Zulika and Torel. You meet Jaren's cousins, Calden and Ashlyn. You meet so many interesting characters in this book that are so much fun, and they all just pull her in to this family, and they just accept her off the bat, no questions, and she's just a part of them. This book ends with Kiva choosing Jaren over her family, choosing love over revenge, and then the biggest betrayal she's ever felt in her life when Zulika frames her for the information she has, steals Jaren's magic and the kingdom out from underneath him, only to send Kiva back to Zalendov, addicted to a substance called angel dust. Wild ride. Which brings us to Blood Trader, the one that I just finished. In this book, you start off Kiva's in Zalendov, addicted to angel dust, and Cresta, a character from the first book who hates Kiva, is actually the one who gets her through her withdrawal and keeps her alive and actually talks her out of ending her own life on multiple occasions. Gives her a reason to keep fighting, gives her a reason to keep training and looking for hope and light at the end of the tunnel. Kiva is released from Zalendov into the custody of King Novak, who her mother secretly made plans for her to marry him so that she would be released from prison and heal Zulika with her healing magic. Because during Zulika's betrayal, we find out that she has succumbed to death magic, which is also in their lineage. You kind of have to choose which side to be on, life or death. Cousin Ashlyn, love Cousin Ashlyn, ends up being undercover at Novak's castle and helps Kiva and Galdrick, one of the rebel leaders that was in love with her mother, escape. They go on a harrowing adventure with Calden, Jaren, Tip, Nari, all of the characters from the first 2 books, through multiple kingdoms to find 4 rings to create the Hand of God that can restore Jaren's magic, as well as give magic to other people, which is what Novak wants her for. Through this, you're dealing with Jaren's emotions of feeling betrayed by Kiva. You're following Kiva as she tries to wrestle with the fact that the man that she loves hates her, and she's having to earn the trust of these people back by helping them. And then during one of the trials, she ends up having to choose between her two greatest fears and ends up taking angel dust. In doing so, she may unwittingly profess her undying love for Jaren, not knowing that he can hear her, and how much she understands why he hates her and will do anything that he asks, include never having to see her again, because he deserves some peace. Which leads to a very intense moment when she's sober of Jaren professing his love for her, that he doesn't hate her, healing a lot of those hurts and those wounds that she had dug into herself by feeling as though she had betrayed him because of her sister's actions. All to find that the hand of God is not what they actually thought that it was, and they had kind of had it the whole time. It ends in a epic battle between the Valentis family, Jaren, Calden, and Ashlyn, Novak, his sister, Wild, and Zulika. I'm not going to tell you the full ending. I will tell you there's a lot of death. There's a lot of survival. There's a lot of magic. And I think the ending was chef's kiss perfect. As a whole, I think I would rate the series 4, like as a whole, as an entirety. I definitely will and definitely have suggested this series to friends and family. I think that they would love it. Mom, if you're watching this, I think you would adore this. I think you would have so much fun. There's no sex, don't worry. It's all magic and all adventure. And the series ending is kind of bittersweet, because on the one hand, I'm kind of glad that I have reached the conclusion and know how it ends, and we get kind of the happily ever after situation. But also, I did love the characters. I did really enjoy my time with them. I enjoyed my time in this world and being on this adventure, so I'm kind of sad to see it come to an end. But all of that being said, I loved The Prison Healer. Would read again, would recommend to a friend. So, if you like magic, if you like epic adventures, if you like longing romance with no spice, this is a perfect series for you, and I definitely suggest give it a try. But I'm tired. I'm a sleepy girl, and also there are more books to be read. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last 2 months that I read this book series. If you want to see me read more full series and do like a full in-depth vlog, go ahead and like this video. If you haven't already, maybe you should subscribe, and there's going to be a little bell. If you tap on that icon, you'll be notified every time that I post, which is Saturday at noon. And thank you guys for coming along with me. I love you so much, and I will see you in the acknowledgements. Bye!